Have you ever felt a strange shift in your life, a subtle but undeniable feeling that something's different, yet you can't quite put your finger on what's changed? You go through your daily routine, everything seems normal on the surface, but deep inside there's a sense that reality itself has shifted. What if I told you that this could be a sign that you've moved into a parallel reality? Don't worry, this isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. In fact, the idea that we exist within a multiverse of infinite realities, each one slightly different from the other, is a concept many spiritual thinkers and even quantum physicists agree on. But moving between parallel realities isn't like walking through a door. Most of the time, the changes are subtle. So subtle, in fact, that they can slip by unnoticed, especially if you're not paying attention. Today, we're going to dive into this fascinating topic and explore 3 clear signs that you've shifted into a parallel reality and why you may not have realized it yet. Plus, we'll look at how you can use this knowledge to start manifesting a better, more aligned version of your life. The first sign that you've shifted to a parallel reality is when everything seems almost the same, but there's something noticeably different. You just can't pin it down. Maybe your surroundings look exactly as they always have, and the people in your life are still living out their daily routines, but there's a small change, a tiny detail that makes everything feel off-kilter. Perhaps you walk into your living room and notice there's an object on your bookshelf that you could have sworn wasn't there before. Or maybe your favorite coffee shop has always served the same pastries, but now, suddenly and without explanation, they don't seem to be on the menu anymore. You wonder if you've misremembered, if maybe you've just overlooked it, or haven't been paying close enough attention. In cases like these, it's not that you're imagining things, it's that you've entered a reality where small aspects of your life have shifted without you fully noticing. These subtle differences might seem trivial at first, but they're clues that something deeper is going on. Think of it like a puzzle. The pieces are all there, but they've been rearranged in a slightly different way. It's still the same picture, but it doesn't quite fit the way you remember it. This is one of the clearest signs that you've shifted into a parallel reality. Now, why might you not have noticed this? For one, we get so wrapped up in the hustle and bustle of life that we often overlook subtle signs. We're used to consistency, to the expectation that the world stays mostly the same from one day to the next. Most people brush off these small changes as insignificant or minor lapses in memory. However, when you take a step back, when you really look closely at your day-to-day experiences, you'll begin to see that these small differences mean much more. They show that you've energetically aligned with or drifted into a reality that's slightly different from your previous one. So how can you start to become more aware of these shifts? One highly effective way is through journaling. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on your experiences. Jot down anything that seemed different or out of place. And did someone in your life behave a little bit differently than they normally do? Was there something about your environment that felt unfamiliar, even though you've been there countless times before? Over time, you'll start to notice patterns, and those patterns will show you when and how often you're shifting between parallel realities. But let's explore the second sign. This one's a bit more obvious than the first because it deals with change on a larger scale. Have you ever had a situation in your life where something that once seemed like a massive obstacle, a roadblock you just couldn't overcome, suddenly wasn't there? Maybe you spent months or even years struggling with a certain issue, whether it was a difficult relationship, a financial problem, or a career hurdle, and then out of nowhere, it disappeared. Either the problem resolved itself or something else came up to make it irrelevant. This is another sign that you've shifted into a parallel reality, the version of reality where that problem no longer exists in the same way. Oftentimes, when we remain stuck in old patterns and cycles, we're aligned with the version of reality where those obstacles exist. But as you raise your vibrational frequency through personal growth, inner work, or spiritual practice, you align with a timeline where those roadblocks no longer hold the same power over you. It's as if you've merged onto a different lane of the highway, one that's free from the traffic jams of your old reality. This can be disorienting, especially if you've spent a long time obsessing over how to overcome that obstacle. When it suddenly vanishes, it's tempting to wonder, was it really ever that big of a deal? The answer is yes. It was until it wasn't. When you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually align with new possibilities, you're essentially stepping into a version of reality where those old problems have either been resolved or they've never existed at all. To help you navigate these shifts, it's helpful to practice visualization. Each morning, take a few moments to close your eyes and visualize a version of your life where those roadblocks are gone. Imagine yourself living a life free of the limitations you've been dealing with. As you do this regularly, you'll strengthen your alignment with that version of reality, and you'll find those obstacles naturally start to fall away. Keep in mind, though, that sometimes this happens in unexpected ways. You won't always be able to foresee how the shift will occur, but the evidence will show up clearly in your life, often when you least expect it. This leads us to the third major sign that you've shifted into a parallel reality, and that's experiencing a strong sense of déjà vu, or having sudden, intense intuitive insights. Déjà vu is perhaps one of the most fascinating signals that we've entered a new timeline. It's that eerie feeling as though you've been in this exact moment before, even though you know for sure you haven't. It's like you're simultaneously aware of the present moment and a past, future, or alternate version of that same moment. When you experience déjà vu, it's like catching a glimpse of the multiverse in action. This moment of overlap gives you a sense that you're synchronizing with another version of reality, the one where this particular experience has already happened in some form. Your higher self is aware of every possible reality you could ever experience, and when you align with a different version, it's as though all those realities coexist at once. Your sense of déjà vu is that awareness coming to the surface. Similarly, you might find yourself having sudden intuitive insights, moments where you just know what's about to happen. You might be in a conversation and halfway through you already know exactly what the other person is going to say, but you're not sure why. Or perhaps you've walked into a place you've never been before, only to feel an overwhelming sense of familiarity. In these moments, you're likely tapping into your intuitive connection with the multiverse. You're sensing the overlap between different versions of your reality. So why don't we notice these shifts more often? It's simple. Society has conditioned us to rely heavily on our five senses, to trust only what we can see, hear, touch, taste, or smell. However, intuitive experiences such as déjà vu or sudden insights come from a deeper place. They're part of the subtle energy field that surrounds us, and to tap into it consistently requires us to be more mindful and present in our day-to-day lives. Unfortunately, between the noise of daily life and the distractions of the modern world, it's easy to dismiss these signs as coincidences when in fact they're powerful indicators of a reality shift. If you've experienced any of these three signs, subtle changes in your surroundings, the sudden disappearance of obstacles, or strong feelings of déjà vu and intuition, there's a good chance that you've already shifted realities multiple times without realizing it. The key now is to develop a deeper awareness so you can continue shifting to higher versions of reality intentionally. One way to do this is by staying in a high vibrational state. Emotions like gratitude, love, joy, and peace have higher frequencies, and when you're in alignment with these emotions, you're more likely to shift to realities that reflect those same vibrations back to you. Each morning or evening, take a few moments to engage in a gratitude practice. This can be as simple as thinking of 3 things you're thankful for, or reflecting on the aspects of your life that bring you joy. By cultivating this high vibrational state, you align yourself with parallel realities that operate on the same frequency, realities where you're closer to manifesting your desires. You begin to notice more opportunities, synchronicities, and clarity as you glide through the subtle layers of the multiverse. You may be wondering what you can actively do to shift into the most aligned parallel reality. First, set clear intentions. Intentions are like the roadmap that guides you through the vast array of possibilities within the multiverse. By focusing on a specific version of reality, one where you're thriving, one where your goals are fulfilled, you're essentially sending out a signal that helps you energetically align with that timeline. Each day, remind yourself, I'm shifting into a reality that's in full alignment with my highest good. Pair this intention with any self-care practice, such as meditation, yoga, or simply focused breathing to strengthen the effect. And lastly, practice trust. Trust that as you raise your vibrational state and consciously set intentions, you are indeed moving toward the manifestation of your ideal reality. The shifts might not always be apparent right away, but trust the process. The course of your life is like a river. Even if it looks calm on the surface, powerful currents beneath are always in motion, steering you toward new experiences, opportunities, and shifts in reality. So to recap, the next time you notice something slightly different about your surroundings, or a long-standing obstacle suddenly fades away, or you experience déjà vu, take a moment to appreciate that you may have just shifted into a parallel reality. Recognizing these signs is just the beginning. By staying mindful, raising your vibrational energy, and setting focused intentions, you can begin to shift into realities where you're living your best possible life. And I encourage you to start paying close attention to the seemingly small shifts around you. Keep a journal, write down your experiences, and stay tuned to the subtle yet profound changes that happen in your life. Remember, you're always moving through different realities, some better aligned with your highest potential than others. The amazing part is that now you're awake to this possibility. You have the power to consciously shift into the reality that's waiting for you, the one where your dreams are already coming true. If you found this discussion empowering, I encourage you to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might also be experiencing these shifts in their reality. Thank you for watching, and remember, you're not bound by one version of reality. You're actively creating your path every day.